Lewis Hamilton is back. The 7-time world champion marking a quick return to the sport after a COVID-19 diagnosis saw him sit out the last race in Bahrain. But for the returning Mercedes man, it wasn't to be smooth sailing. Brake issues early on, leaving him stuck in the garage for half the session. A residual brake trace showed up on the telemetry, a likely consequence of a late pedal changeover between stand-in George Russell and Hamilton's setup requirements, with the team having said they'd made some changes to the cockpit between Bahrain and Abu Dhabi to make Russell more comfortable. Hamilton's recovery meant Russell returned to Williams, denying him a shot at redemption after the tyre mishaps in Sakhir that robbed the young Briton of a first podium, and possibly more. After being outpaced and outraced by his temporary teammate at the Sakhir Grand Prix last weekend, Valtteri Bottas will be looking for a strong final showing at Yas Marina if he hopes to hold on to second place in the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen is just 16 points behind, and the Flying Finn was taking a lot of curb as he pushed hard in first practice. Verstappen needs a top 2 finish and for the Finn to falter if he has any chance of leapfrogging Bottas, but was doing everything he could and raced to the top time in FP1 with Bottas less than a tenth of a second behind him. In the second Red Bull, Alex Albon had a spin entering the Marina section, but with a number of drivers running 2021 development parts, it's difficult to get a read on overall comfort levels and balance, and whether a driver's struggles in FP1 are an outlier for the weekend. Daniel Ricciardo, beginning his final Grand Prix weekend for Renault, ground to a halt early on.
Okay, I have a problem.
Okay, understood.
A fuel pressure problem ruled him out of the rest of the morning, but the engine in use was a Friday unit due to be changed before Saturday anyway, and so the rest of his weekend shouldn't be affected. Mick Schumacher made his official F1 practice debut, standing in for Kevin Magnussen, and Pietro Fittipaldi again replaced Romain Grosjean. Haas admitting their lineup for FP1 featured a set of surnames not even they, in their wildest dreams, had imagined at season's start. Last week's race winner Sergio Perez will have a tough task repeating the feat in his final weekend with Racing Point. An engine change means he will start from the back of the grid in a race where he will be desperate to hold on to 4th in the drivers' standings and to keep Racing Point in 3rd in the constructors. But at the flag it was Verstappen who topped the timesheets narrowly ahead of Bottas, and Esteban Ocon riding high from his first F1 podium in Sakhir in an excellent P3, ahead of Albon and the returning Hamilton. The Racing Point duo were next in 6th and 7th, Lance Stroll outpacing Perez, with the AlphaTauris impressing again, Danny Kvyat P8 and Pierre Gasly P9, while Kimi Raikkonen was an outstanding 10th for Alfa Romeo. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris will be disappointed for McLaren in 11th and 13th, with the Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel 12th and 14th. Reserve driver Robert Kubica was 15th for Alfa Romeo, with George Russell falling back to earth with a bump in 16th, ahead of his Williams teammate Latifi. The Haas duo were next, Schumacher outpacing Fittipaldi, with the stricken Renault of Daniel Ricciardo rounding out the leaderboard.